Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
So I will call the meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Saxtons River to order. We are meeting solely by electronic means at this point in time. Rick, if you would keep an eye on the chat, I would appreciate it. We're such a small group, it's usually not an issue, but in case we suddenly get out of control. In general, all motions, all votes must be either unanimous or by roll call. I've just heard from Ellen that she won't be making it, so there will be 4 of us on those votes. The meeting is being recorded, and we use that recording and we archive it, so it will be available. In fact, TV is here as well. Let's see. Let's do brief introductions. So I am Amy Howlett, the village chair. Carl, would you introduce yourself?
I'm Carl Ball. I'm the vice chair and also the village clerk.
Matt?
Matt Brennan, general guy.
Okay, Rick?
Rick Holloway, other general guy.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm going down the recommendations of the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, which I don't always do. Okay, I think we're ready. So is there any public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to a question that came up, I think, at our first March meeting. Should we return to in-person meetings? And I can inform you that I have looked up the relevant advice. We are allowed to continue meeting solely by electronic means through January of 2023. And it strikes me that the legislature set it up that way to allow us to do whatever we wanted. So they will be in session again. I assume their session will run through May. It seems to me we're getting kind of close to wind up. But we have the authority to continue meeting only by electronic means. But the question's open for everyone to weigh in on. And of course, we have been offered Main Street Arts, which has some Wi-Fi and, you know, it's accessible. There are clean bathrooms and heat when it's hot and windows to open when it's cold. Or we have the fire station, as I think you pointed out, Matt. So is there any discussion?
I think you had that backwards. Windows to open when it's hot and heat when it's cold.
Oh, okay. Is there any discussion?
If we're okay to continue meeting electronically, I'm fine doing so.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Carl?
Oh, I prefer it.
Okay. Stan, do you have a point of view on this? Since you're here, we're going to make you stand in for the entire public world of Saxtons River.
I don't have any real opinion, I guess. I mean, it's at some point, probably sooner than later, I'd like to probably get more personally involved than Zoom allows, but in what you folks think works best is fine with me.
Okay, good. And the annual meeting will, because of the legislature, have to be in person. So that will be an actual meeting. Okay, well, let's keep going then. So we will continue to meet by electronic means, but if anybody has second thoughts, if people, you know, corner you at a party and say, gee, we'd really like to start coming in person, please pass that along to the group. All right, Declaration of Inclusion. So this is the declaration that I brought to the joint board meeting. And I don't know, Rick and Matt, did you attend by Zoom? No. Okay.
No.
So I'll do a brief explanation and then share it. And Carl, you can make your comments. So a declaration of inclusion is a statement made by a municipality about being open and receptive. Maybe I'll just share it. Any words I have are so much worse. Yes, Matt.
So where did this originate from? And is this coming from the Saxons River trustees or from you personally?
From me personally.
Personally,
So
not as a Saxons River trustee.
No, as a Saxons River trustee.
Oh,
So it is, I mean, schools adopt them, Parks Place
Right.
is looking at it. Chroma has something similar on the books. I first heard about it at the Vermont League of Cities and Towns during the town fair training. When was that? Last spring? It came up and I heard the story of two men, one in Pittsford and one in either Rutland or maybe Mendon. So Bob Harnish and a guy named Al Wakefield, who felt after the death of George Floyd that Vermont needed to do something to kind of acknowledge, in my mind, it comes back to the whiteness of the state. So it was a reaction to the racism that both of them realized was endemic in this country. So, that puts it on polarized grounds right away. I'm going to pull it up so you can see. I think I've sent it to everyone, but of course, oh, tell me I shut it down. No, there it is. So I will just share it.
Just a follow up on that.
Yep.
Is this something as a board we agreed on, or you're just, and I'm not opposed to it at all. I just wondered.
No, you're
kind of
trying
the
to find out
procedure of,
about it.
did we talk about it and then said, oh, go ahead and do it? You just,
No.
so you presented it as a resident, not as the.
No, I presented it as the chair. And one of the first questions, as you might predict, was, well, has Saxons River passed this declaration of inclusion? And of course I said, no, this is the first time I've brought it to any board. I was interested in seeing what the joint board said because I knew that Deb Wright served on the committee at the League of Cities and Towns to discuss declarations of inclusion. And I found that out. I saw her at the town fair training. It's a Zoom training, so you can see who the attendees are. But when I noticed she was on it, I asked her and Peter what they thought about bringing it to the joint boards for discussion. Obviously, nothing would happen the first time you introduced it. And they said, sure, go ahead. So Carl, you have your hand up.
Yeah, is this then written by the Vermont League of Cities and Towns or?
So there are different versions out there. This particular one is from a website. Let's see if I can read it. vtdeclarationinclusion.org. So it sounds to me like they've gone and founded their own nonprofit. That's just a guess on my part. I don't know that. I could bring back for you the wording at the Vermont League of Cities and Towns has put up. I think I have enormous respect for what they've done. So I'm just going to read the initial statement. The town of, and we would have to say the village of Saxons River, condemns racism and welcomes all persons, regardless of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, gender identity or expression, age or disability, and wants everyone to feel safe and welcome in our community. As a village, it would have to be, we formally condemn all discrimination in all of its forms, commit to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community, and will strive to ensure all of our actions, policies, and operating procedures reflect this commitment. The town of has and will continue to be a place where individuals can live freely and express their opinions by the municipal body on a certain date. So it's meant, I think, as an emotional declaration, but also as a pillar in economic development. The idea that people who are thinking about moving to Vermont or doing business in Vermont see this as a statement of where, at least in one village, people stand. Matt.
Just one observation and comment. I would assume that something like this being brought in the name of the board we would have discussed and agreed upon it before it moved forward. Again, I'm not opposed to this, but it seems though you just took this on yourself and kind of are saying that the Saxons River Board we haven't even seen it.
No,
So-
I was very clear that it did not come from the board, that I brought it to the joint board meeting as the chair of the board who had something interesting to say.
Right, but as the chair of the board, when you go to bring something, shouldn't the rest of the board have already approved it?
I'll certainly take that under advisement.
Well,
If that's your advice, then obviously
well, I don't know.
I did
It's just,
something wrong.
it's just, you know, again, not opposed to it. Just
You would be more
typically
comfortable if it
typically
had come from us.
we discuss something and agree upon it or don't agree upon it, and it either goes or doesn't go forward. So, just
Good points, Matt.
okay. So is this something that we are looking to adopt this evening, or we're discussing it now? What's the what are you looking to do with this?
My thought is that I'd get some initial reactions. I don't think it's something you adopt on seeing first time through.
Mhm.
If you're not opposed, then we would bring it back and continue to discuss it. If you know it's something you're not interested in, then the discussion could end right now. The two comments that were made at the joint board meeting were, one was a phrase that I had never before heard. This is cold comfort then. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what cold comfort is. So maybe you guys have heard this before. Cold comfort is apparently a statement that doesn't do anything, but makes people feel like the right thing is happening. At least that's how I interpreted the remarks. The other thing that was said was, this is a statement that is worth considering, but all of the, I think what I took away from the comments were the condemns racism was fine, but the welcoming all persons and then that whole list of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, gender identity or expression, age or disability, that was more challenging. So those are two comments and I'm open to yours. Can I take this down so I can see everybody's face better?
I'd make a motion that we table this till the next meeting, so we can all kind of digest this.
Okay. So I'm going to take it down. Hold on, stop share. And we have something in the chat. Oh, Emily Miller from Westminster. Thanks, Emily. So Matt has made a motion that we no longer discuss this tonight, but that we table it until the next meeting. Matt, is that your thought?
Yeah, next, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? It doesn't move forward without a second, of course.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Other thoughts? Carl, you were at the meeting. Do you want to add anything about the joint board reaction?
No, I think there was sort of a general interest in, just from the sort of the side comments about a declaration like this, but I don't think anybody expressed strong feelings about it. I think people were more just considering what it said and not yet having absorbed it, not yet willing to comment on it. Does that
Okay,
sound fair?
sure. So it's been moved and seconded to continue discussing this, to table this discussion until the next meeting, which would be April 18th. Further discussion? Okay. All in favor of discussing this again, April 18th? Show by hands. And it is unanimous. Okay, great. Thank you. Review of the joint board meeting. My apologies for the confusion over the packets. Peter Golick told me the night of the meeting, your packets must be at the police station. That's where they're always left. So it was too late to figure that out that night. I did go over, but it looked like everything was locked up. And the next day I went and there were no packets for us. So I've written to the town manager, and next time I will write a week before and say, where will the packets be? They were interesting materials. I've sent you the map of the island and the list of the ARPA projects. Geographically, there was also the town of Rockingham does a 4-year, an every 4-year tax sale. And there was a list of properties for that. So that's also available if you want me to retrieve it, or if you want to retrieve it from the town manager. Any other things, Carl? You were the other person who was there besides Ellen. Anything else you want to say? I was a little distressed that I felt Ellen was being put on the spot by one of the village trustees for her stance on the fire department. The questions were, it seemed to me, repetitive, and
I thought it was a great demonstration of the mutual respect and cooperation between the two villages. That's being said sarcastically. I mean, it was very hostile discussion of that grant. Lot of resentment that anybody should, other than Saxtons River, should be putting money forward towards a project for the Saxtons River Station. And as you said, repetitive, and somebody, they were beating the same drum. And I thought it was rough for Ellen. Yeah.
I mean, she carried herself very well.
No, but it was a bad, she shouldn't have had to do it.
Yep. Do you guys want me to look for training? I mean, I also thought if that individual had confronted me in my home, how would I handle that? And I don't think that's out of the question. I mean, I think, you know, this is a very inflammable topic. So, thoughts?
Can you share the individual's name?
Sure, it was Wade Major.
Wade Mashore?
Yep.
And what was his problem?
He began by saying he was very concerned. I don't remember his exact words, and I haven't seen the minutes yet. He was very concerned that the town of Rockingham had agreed to contribute funding to the fire department, to the fire feasibility study. And then he switched focus and asked what sounded to me like the same question any number of ways of Ellen. And she was polite. I thought answered every question, but it, as Carl said, it seemed like the same drum beating over and over again.
Okay. Well,
Just thoughts. I know it's a difficult topic.
When's there another joint board meeting? And I guess we should show up there with more numbers.
May 31st.
All right.
I don't think it's the numbers. I mean, and I think the feasibility study is the thing to do. I mean, we may find out some very uncomfortable things from the feasibility study. I mean, it looks at the whole picture. Where are the calls?
Right.
You know, who is responding? How many are there? What are the costs involved? And we may get news that is tough to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. There is no word yet. It will be at least a month. I think that's what we were told before we hear about the results of whether we got the grant. I mean, this is step one.
Right. No, my comment about numbers is if we're going to try and continue to be part of that joint board meeting, then we need more people at the table. That's all.
Yeah.
We've always been left on the outside, and it's been just Rockingham and Bellows Falls that, go through all this stuff. And
Well, I think the fire committee will be meeting again, so that will be something to watch for. We had a quorum there, So that was my concern, that we have enough people to interact and,
Mhm.
make motions, speak as a group if we wanted to. We were seated. There were no name tags for us, but we ended up sitting, the three of us together, which I found kind of nice.
At the table?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. At the table. And the town manager apologized that he didn't have a nameplate for us. So, okay. Well, I don't want to, I was delighted that we were there. I was delighted that we've made progress. Next time we'll do packets. But if you look at the agenda and you see anything to do with fire on it, I would definitely recommend, practicing your poker face and what to say when confronted. But just a personal feeling about what happened. All right. Anything more? Yes, Carl.
Just as a sort of a side remark, I happened to notice while I was looking at the town website today that it's still just Town of Rockingham and Village of Bellows Falls. I think maybe we should push again to get Saxtons River on
Yep.
that.
Absolutely. Either that or we should stop
On
paying
the joint meeting for that night?
No, just on the title page of the website. Village
Oh,
of
okay.
Bellows Falls and Town of Rockingham. It should be Village of Saxtons River as well.
Okay. I'll
So
follow up with that. Do you know who the webmaster is?
I'll follow up if you want, because I talked to Chuck about the website quite a bit. I'll find out from him who to talk.
That would be great. I'm delighted to have you be our website person. Sounds terrific. Okay. So Carl will follow up. Great. Anything else from the joint board meeting? Okay. Annual meeting preparation. I don't know that there's much for this, but I wanted to keep it on the agenda just in case. I have spoken to Main Street Arts, and we are assured of the theater on the second floor. My thought was that I would go in a couple of hours early. I certainly welcome help making sure the chairs are far enough apart. If it's a glorious evening, maybe we can open the windows and get more air moving through. Does anybody know what's been done previously for microphones there? Anybody want to take on sound for that night? I'm looking at you, Rick.
We've never done none of the meetings I've ever been to. We've
No.
had to, but
Okay.
At the school, we've never had microphones.
That's true. We've just been in the library.
yeah,
Yeah.
15, 20 people probably don't need microphones.
Okay, well, we need at least 20, so.
Okay.
Okay, no mics, all right. Any
But I
other,
will bring a certain high school junior I know down and help you set up chairs that can use some community service hours.
that would be great. Gordon, I see you have your hand up. Hold on, let me just unmute you.
Main Street Arts does have a sound person who is basically trying to clean up and be in charge of all the sound equipment that was brought in there.
Is that Ira Wilner?
No,
Evan Parks.
Yes, that's right. His name is Evan. What's the last name?
Parks.
Parks. Yeah, he also works at So if necessary, he could be engaged. I assume the board will not sit on the stage, right? But will sit on the floor.
You can't sit on the stage. I kind of
Well,
want to be. I kind of want to be on the stage.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can if you want, if it makes you feel better. It would but given that you'll be on the floor and that there will be 20 people, I don't think you'll need microphones.
Right.
Okay,
But in case, just in case, he would be the one to probably do it.
okay. Is he a Saxons River resident? Is he easy to
No,
find?
he lives in Bellows Falls. He comes to Main Street Arts every Friday to have it be an open place where people can come supposedly and record things. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but,
Okay, I'll follow it up.
okay.
All right. thanks.
I can contact Evan. He does the sound at stage 33 as well. So
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just worry. I think all of us have pretty strong voices, but not everybody does. And it's really critical that people be heard. That's my only concern.
what?
So, okay. Are there any other issues for preparation for annual meeting?
Yeah,
Carl.
I have just one. Everybody should have gotten an email from me with the budget worksheets for the wastewater treatment plant and the general budget. Amy will be compiling those in the village report. So if you have any corrections or think I've omitted something or think something should be clearer, let one of us know so that we can get it fixed in time for Amy to get it printed off and into the packet and copied, which is coming to me yesterday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have all the pieces. I need your report, Carl, not
Yeah.
just the budget worksheets, but your report, and I need Sarah's report. I was able to reach Louise on this topic. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Louise is always so generous and so quick to respond to my questions. So it turns out she's just been making 50 copies on the copy machine at the fire station. So that's easy. And I will certainly do the same thing. She and I have talked about having a picture of the Saxtons River Market on the front of the annual report. And I think that might be particularly nice this year with Averill selling the market to new owners, just to recognize the way that place has been an anchor institution for the village of Saxtons River. Is there any objection to that? I didn't even think of running that by you, and I should have. Okay. I always had the feeling it was sort of Louise's decision anyway, so it seems sort of natural to have her say. I mean, I wrote to her to say, I know last year was a wonderful historical picture. Does the Historical Society want to do that again? And she said, no, I think it should be the village market. So
Who's the third trustee that we're electing, that we need to elect? So there's me, Ellen, and
Carl.
Carl.
Me, yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. And who's providing snacks?
Potluck?
Mine
Go
and
ahead, Gordon.
Me, I will bring Indian snacks.
Wow.
Yeah. For the whole big meeting, or
Yeah, this is for the annual meeting, which I don't think I've ever, I mean, I haven't even been in town
never
in more
had
than 5
snacks.
years, but
We've
it's
never had
never
snacks.
more than
Never had
30
snacks.
people.
We have had in the past,
Have we?
back in the day.
who's bringing
Yeah,
the wine?
we actually got there, I don't know, 45 minutes early and kind of had a little social event.
That would be good. That's where to do snacks.
Okay. I think I'll talk it up, see if anybody else is interested. Maybe we can build attendance by making it delicious.
Snacks always get people to show up.
Yeah.
Tell me there's food, I'll be there.
Okay.
And a keg.
Speaking of attendance, what will the instructions say about masks and mask mandate, and whether, if you had a mask mandate, do you think more people would come or not?
We do not have a mandate set by the town. I am happy to put out an advisory, but I don't think it has legal enforcement unless
No,
it's the
I'm not
will of
saying,
the board to do that.
I'm just saying that, would that have any bearing on attendance if people thought
Good.
that most people were going to be masked? I don't know.
I don't know. What would people like to do about masking? Gordon, if you were writing this, what would you want us to say about masks?
I would say that basically they're been optional, as they have been. I mean, They're optional at the village market now, right?
Yep, and the post office.
Are they optional at the post office?
Well, they've taken down their sign that says masks are required.
I assume that most people who, I don't know. I don't know what people feel about that and whether it would guide whether they would come or not. So like, I'm just bringing it up as a possibility.
It doesn't hurt to throw the common language in there about, like, you know, masking is optional and that we should respect everyone's choices on whether to or not to mask. And
Mhm.
Well, and when we were at Next Stage, Keith announced that they had a doctor on the board who was going to recommend to them. So you might say, as recommended currently by Dr. Levine, masks are optional. You know, throw an authority in there.
Mhm. Okay. What do you think? Should I set up a table in the entryway with masks and sanitizer? Just in
Sure.
case people
Yeah.
want to?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Jean's bringing snacks. I'm bringing masks and sanitizer. Okay, great. Sorry, I have to write this stuff down or I'll never remember it. Any other comments for annual meeting on the 25th? Okay, we're moving on. There were no motions out of that, right? Just general consensus? Carl?
No motions.
Okay. And Carl, you noticed that Jeff McClarty has joined us.
Yeah.
Okay. Committee reports and updates. Oh, this is great. We're really moving right on through. I'm so delighted. Hartley Hill intersection. Is it too soon to discuss that, Carl?
Nothing new.
Okay. 4th of July. I thought I would put this on the agenda and bring you updates. Perhaps some of you are serving on that committee. I took a phone call from Pat Fowler today just to review what the village role was. So the committee has met once. The theme is the Roaring Twenties. The next meeting is April 14th at 7 p.m. at MSA. At this point in time, the committee believes there will be no fireworks at the rec. We apparently, because we did not do fireworks for 2 years, I'm going to put this in quotes, lost our place in line. The committee is not interested in doing fireworks July 3rd. That is the Grafton Vermont Symphony Orchestra fireworks night. And I sort of had the feeling talking to Pat that she was sort of reveling in the idea that they wouldn't have the crowd control, the garbage pickup, the issues that the fireworks have brought to the village previously. So what's planned at this moment is this theme, the Roaring Twenties, a parade, street food, vendors, water polo. She couldn't tell me whether Art Smith has weighed in on that, but sort of a smaller scale since there wouldn't be fireworks. They're still debating whether to use the rec, maybe to have a barbecue up there. They have been welcome to use Main Street Arts, particularly if it's rainy that afternoon. Maybe there would be a dance upstairs. But I pass this on to you just in general information. Daisy Mortensen is the Saxtons River rep on the committee, and Sue Hernandez is the main contact person. Are there any questions? I know it's not our event, but I thought it made sense to at least do a brief report. Would you like another brief report as we go forward, or would you rather not?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Okay. All right, planning grant for 37 Main Street. The RFP will be reissued. The RFP for the consultant will be reissued later this week. That's it since the last report. Water infrastructure, the revolving loan fund application, there's no news on that. The project was submitted as an ARPA project to be paid for by Saxtons River funds. We are eligible for state ARPA payments, but it was submitted just to get it out there in the public and at the recommendation, I think, of Carl Ball. We're on to ARPA unless there are questions about the water infrastructure project. The next public meeting for the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, is Wednesday, April 13th at 5:30 p.m. That's in the Lower Theater at the Bellows Falls Opera House. The group will be divided by geography that night. There'll be a town of Rockingham, a village of Bellows Falls, and a village of Saxtons River group. I'm wondering if there will be one person in the village of Saxtons River group, in which case discussion should be very quick. I'm thinking that one person might be me. But that's the plan, to divide up by geographic region to discuss the projects that were submitted by geographic region. Questions on ARPA?
Nope.
Okay, I think Carl asked at one point, how late could decisions be made? The board has, I believe, through April of 2024 to make decisions. The funds must be expended by 2026. So we have a nice long timeline ahead of us, although I am starting to organize submitting the first report. Anything new on the fire station?
No, haven't heard anything.
Okay, anything new on the wastewater treatment plant?
No, nothing.
Okay, I will tell you, Rob comes by once a month to get routine signatures. Today was the day, so that's happened. Okay, without further questions, then we're up to number 8, minutes for approval from March 21st, which was a regular meeting, and March 28th, which was the special meeting to discuss the budget worksheets. Carl, do you want to make any comments before we get started?
Yeah, on the minutes of the special meeting, the original draft that I sent you, I had an error. I had said that we had deleted $5,000 from the fire station development, and it was actually, as I went back and looked at the tape, it was actually the fire station reserve, the fire department capital reserve that we removed. So
Okay.
the amount was the same, but it was a different pocket.
All right.
I
So,
corrected the minutes to reflect that.
all right. So then we are looking for a motion for approval of the minutes of March 21st and the corrected minutes of March 28th. Is there such a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 21st meeting and amended March 28th meetings.
Is there a second to that motion? Okay, it's been moved by Matt, seconded by Rick. And is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Is everyone in favor of approving the minutes of March 21st and the amended minutes of March 28th? Hold up your hand. And it's unanimous. Okay, warrants. I will share my screen. This is one of those days when the bills kept coming in at the last minute. So I apologize for not sending them to you earlier, but I don't think I could have. So the new bills, we have a whole bunch from rescue. I think bound tree, you see there are 3 items bound. They're all the same. They're medical supplies, and I can read to you from the invoices, which I have here, but they are gloves and medications, solutions. It all looks extremely official. And I see I've written rescue squad here twice, but the rescue squad also submitted an invoice for 2 Zoom licenses. I asked, did they really need 2? And apparently they do. They offer training over Zoom, and the rescue squad leader, Nick, needs to be able to Zoom separately. So those 2 Zooms overlap, and he can't do it with 1 license. 2 licenses are $299.80. So you do pay less than for 2 separate licenses. There's also a Symposium Technologies 9/11 software license that came in at $80. Other amounts, J&H Hardware, a bunch of bills from the fire department. Most of that is a new sump pump. When we've been flooded, the fire department helps people pump the excess water out of their basements. And Art envisions this happening more often, given the kinds of water emergencies we've been seeing over the last 5 to 10 years. There were also some regular smaller amounts. The shipping for J&H Hardware, that's that part that we discussed. That is being sent back to possibly be repaired. So the total of those is $2,458. And I'm happy to entertain any questions on individual invoices. No questions? Do I have a motion?
No, I have
Did
a
I
question.
just oh, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing everybody. I apologize. Go ahead, Matt.
Just down below this, Pleasant Street sewer payment.
Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? So it's an
Yeah,
individual's home, and I don't know what the story is.
okay.
It's a big check though, huh?
Yeah, that's good to see.
Yeah, I felt a little better, with the checks on the top and the incomes below. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Sarah, I have no idea if this remark pertains to this particular check, but Sarah made the remark to me that with so many sales right now, a lot of our liens are being cleaned up.
Mhm.
People know that that's something that has to happen. So,
So back to the warrant, I'll make a motion to approve the warrant for $2,458.
is there a second to that
Second.
motion? It's been
Second.
moved and seconded to approve the warrant in the amount of $2,458. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Show of hands to approve the warrant for $2,458. Looks like it's unanimous. Okay, where are we? Oh, other business. Do people have other business?
Nope.
I have a little bit. Oh, Carl does. Good. I hate to be the
Yes,
only one talking.
Just as a sort of point of interest, I was contacted by a homeowners association up in Colchester who are working on forming a village. And they asked me to provide our last year's annual report and the budget. I guess they're interested in budgeting questions. And they said they were collecting documents like this from similar sized municipalities because this is the first time in 100 years anybody's tried to form a village. So
In Colchester?
yeah, it's a homeowners association owns a property with 250 houses on it, and they're looking to
Incorporate.
incorporate, I guess, or whatever one does to become a village.
Huh.
I'd be in favor of not giving them information. I'm sure they can talk to the state for that.
Well, everything what I've given them is public information. I mean, our report and is public.
Okay.
Is the 2021 annual report. I didn't
Yep.
see it really had any grounds for refusing it. I could have said, get it from the website, but it seemed just as easy to email it. And
Yeah, I know when I came on the board a couple of years ago, Louise said, why don't you review the bylaws? And I wrote to the League of Cities and Towns to say, are there other village bylaws that you can share with me? And they said, no idea. So I'm impressed that Colchester found us. Okay, follow-up questions for Carl? All right. I have a brief report from Leslie Goldman, and perhaps you've heard from her already. The reapportionment is now final. So the towns in Wyndham 3, we have not been excluded, I'm happy to say. So Wyndham 3, the district which elects House representatives, 2 House representatives from Wyndham 3, will now comprise Brookline, all of Rockingham, and Westminster. So I feel a little sad to have lost Carolyn Partridge. You know, we've been part of that district that extends over through Grafton, Athens, and Wyndham, but that district is looking north now. So they are folded in, I believe, with Chester. Leslie plans to run in the 2022 election representing the new Wyndham 3 district. And she reminds us that she will represent the old Wyndham 3 district until January 2nd, 2023. So that's when the new legislature walks in. So until then, she and Carolyn will continue to represent old Wyndham 3. I also have training available for board members. League of Cities and Towns offers training, and I'm happy to share the postcard that came in the mail. It's $60 for 3 seminars. 2 of them have already happened. There is a 3rd seminar, May 11th, 2022. But by paying the $60, which is a good savings over the regular membership, we get it because we are members of the workers' comp, the passive insurance program. You get access to the previous Zoom seminars. So this training covers conflict management, open meeting law, legal conduct of meetings, you know, the things that select board and village trustees need to know. Is anyone interested in that? All right.
When is it, Amy?
The next Zoom session is May 11th, but you have access to all of the trainings.
What time of the day is it at? Do you know? Is it an evening, a daytime?
Hold on. Yeah, it is great to be there specifically. Wednesday, May 11th, 9 to 12. Are you interested?
I'll wait and see how the vicious battle election between Jeff, Stan, and I work out, and who's actually on the trustees board at that time.
So Carl, I'll give this to you and you can decide what to do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I think it sounds like something I probably ought to know about.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea.
Maybe I should wait and see if I'm still a trustee after the end of April. There may be a coup, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you never can tell. I guess I should be writing a script, or can we just do it on the floor? Do people need to know who's supposed to nominate? Let's just do it on the fly.
That's fine.
Okay. And everybody's comfortable with the cast one ballot?
Sure.
Go
I
ahead,
have a
Carl.
comment about the script. I think it's good to have the script for the nominations written out so that your long-suffering clerk will have the exact wording that were made, so that exact wording can be reflected in the minutes. So no, I think we need to have motions written out for all the articles.
All right. Yeah, we've had those in the past.
It's always been done that way, and I think it's a good practice.
That's never my favorite argument. It's always been done that way, but I defer to your wisdom. Okay.
About this, it's good practice.
It's a good practice.
Not it's always been done that way, but it's a good practice to have them written out.
Okay. All right. I will have them for you at the next meeting.
And on that same topic, of those motions. The motion for adopting the budget, because of the negative cash on hand, is going to look a little different. So
Will you write that motion for me,
All right.
Carl?
I'll write up a suggestion for that, and everybody can weigh in on that.
Okay, so this will be at the next meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for the next meeting? This is April 18th, 7 PM on Zoom.
This is, run that by me again.
The next meeting, the next regular trustee meeting. I assume we will meet on the 18th and then we will meet on the 25th, but correct me. I mean, that is our regularly scheduled meeting. We will have the usual warrant. I think we're about due for the payment for our operator of the wastewater treatment plant. We'll have the payments for typically Green Mountain Power and VTEL. I mean, if it's only a warrant, that's fine too.
I will be on one of my first outside of the village of Saxons River vacations on the 18th. So
I'm going to be out of town also.
they do have Wi-Fi where I'm going to be. So, but
You plan to attend, Rick?
I will do my best. I will let you, as we get closer to the date, I will know more.
Okay. And Matt, do you have any sense of whether you'll be able to make it? This is not meant to be pressure in any way,
Right.
but I just counting heads and,
I'll try to.
okay. All right, anything else for the next meeting? Then we are ready to consider an executive session. I assume there's no reason for one, but I'm ready to stand corrected.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait a minute, Carl, did you have your hand up?
No, I was just scratching my ear.
Okay, all right. I think we're ready for that motion. Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
everybody okay with that? All right, moved, seconded, done.